Someone is standing in the kitchen, holding their phone, staring at a message that says, "Can you help me? I really need you." Their eyes burn, their body feels heavy. All day they've been on, helping coworkers, answering family messages, listening to a friend's breakup story again. Every part of them is screaming, "I can't do this right now." And still, the fingers type. "Of course, I'm here." They hit send. Their chest tightens. There's a small voice inside that says, "What about me?" But it gets drowned out by another voice, louder and sharper. "Don't be selfish. They need you. You can rest later." Later never comes. They go to bed exhausted, scrolling through everyone else's problems, wondering quietly why they feel so empty when they spend so much time trying to make everyone happy. If this feels familiar, this video is for you. Because this is the everyday reality for a lot of people pleasers. At work, you're the reliable one. The one who says, "I can take that on," even when your to-do list is already overflowing. You stay late so someone else can go home on time. You fix mistakes quietly so nobody gets in trouble. Your manager calls you a lifesaver, and you smile. Inside, you think, if I say no, will they still see me as valuable? In relationships, you change shape to fit what the other person needs. You listen for hours, even when you're drained. You agree with things you don't fully agree with, so there's no argument. You say whatever you want, because having a different opinion feels dangerous. You want to be easy. You don't want to be too much. With family, old roles come back fast. You become the good daughter, the good son, the one who understands, who forgives, who makes excuses for other people's behavior. A parent vents for an hour. You say, "I get it, it's okay." Then hang up and feel this mix of anger and guilt. Angry that there was no room for you. Guilty for even feeling angry at all. And with yourself, that's where it gets the quietest. Someone asks, "What do you want?" and your mind goes blank. You genuinely don't know. What do you like? What do you need? What would make you happy today? These questions feel harder than any problem at work. You've spent so long focusing on other people's needs that your own feel blurry, far away, or even wrong. Maybe you recognize scenes like these. You agree to plans you don't want, then secretly hope they get canceled. You feel a knot in your stomach every time you even think about saying no. You apologize before you speak. "Sorry, this might be stupid, but..." You replay conversations for hours, wondering if you upset someone. You get praised for being kind, helpful, always there for everyone, and feel strangely unseen. On the outside, you look like a good friend, partner, coworker, child. On the inside, you feel tired, resentful, and strangely alone. You keep wondering, why am I doing everything right, but I'm still not happy? This pattern almost never starts with, "I want to be a people pleaser." It often starts with a child learning what makes them feel safe. A girl speaks up and says, "I don't like that," and an adult snaps, "Stop being difficult." She cries and hears, "Don't start, you're fine, don't make a scene." But when she's helpful, polite, quiet, everyone relaxes. She gets smiles, approval. So she learns, being good means not causing problems. My anger makes things worse. My needs are dangerous. A boy says, "I'm scared," and someone laughs or shuts it down. Boys don't cry, toughen up. But when he takes care of others, when he's strong and doesn't complain, he gets praise. "You're so mature, so responsible." He learns, if I need less, I'm loved more. If I'm soft, I'm a problem. Maybe the house was chaotic, yelling, drinking, silent treatment. The child notices that if they can keep everyone calm, things don't explode as much. They become the peacemaker, the little adult. They scan faces, sense moods, walk on eggshells. Their nervous system connects keeping people happy with staying safe. Maybe love felt like something you earned. You did well at school, you helped at home, you stayed kind and agreeable, and that's when affection showed up. When you pushed back or had feelings that were too big, love pulled away. So your brain quietly decided, if I want to be loved, I have to hide the parts of me that make people uncomfortable. Fast forward to now, you're not that child anymore, but your body and mind still act like you are. People-pleasing isn't a choice you make once in a while. It's automatic. It kicks in before you've even had a chance to think, and it shows up everywhere. You say yes before you check how you feel. You soften your words so nobody gets upset. You minimize your pain because others have it worse. You get anxious if someone is quiet, thinking, are they mad at me? You feel guilty for resting, like you haven't earned it yet. There's also this quiet fear under everything. If I stop being this useful, this kind, this available, will anyone stay? That fear makes it really hard to feel happy, because happiness needs honesty. It needs room for your real feelings, not just the ones that are easy for others. When your main goal is keep everyone okay, your own joy becomes an afterthought. People-pleasing can also twist how you see others. You might look at people who set clear boundaries and think, they're rude, they don't care as much as I do. But under that judgment, there's often envy. A part of you sees their freedom and aches for it. Or you might judge other people-pleasers harshly. Why don't they stand up for themselves? It's painful to see in someone else what you're struggling with in yourself, so your mind pushes it away by criticizing it out there. The cost of staying in this loop is big. You feel exhausted even when you sleep. You feel anxious even when nothing bad is happening. You feel resentful even toward people you love. You feel like no one really knows you because you rarely show them. But here's something important. The part of you that wants to care, that wants to make others comfortable, that wants peace, that part is not bad. It started as protection. It helped you survive. It kept you connected when you were too young to do anything else. The problem isn't that you care. The problem is that you learn to care about others at the cost of yourself. So what do you do with that? You don't have to kill the people-pleaser. You don't have to become cold or selfish. The path is more like this, learning to let your own needs into the room too. Learning to care for you and them, not only them. Let's walk through some practical steps to start shifting this, gently but clearly. First, notice when you leave yourself. Next time someone asks you for something, a favor, your time, your attention, pause for just a moment before you answer. Check your body. Does your chest tighten? Stomach drop? Do you feel a rush of guilt even before you say no? You don't have to change anything yet. Just notice. You might think, I was about to say yes, but my whole body said no. That simple awareness is huge. It means you're starting to see the pattern instead of being swept away by it. You can write it down. Boss asked me to stay late. I said yes, felt angry and tired afterward. Friend called to vent again. I picked up even though I didn't want to. Felt invisible. Seeing it in front of you makes it real. And once it's real, you can work with it. Second, start an honest notebook just for you. This isn't a pretty gratitude journal. It's a place where you tell the truth you usually hide. You can write things like, I am angry that my mom never asks how I am. I am tired of always being the one who listens. I said yes today, but I wanted to scream no. No one else has to see this. It's not about being fair or polite. It's about finally letting your own feelings exist somewhere. Over time, you might start a little dialogue on the page. One voice says, if I say no, they'll leave. Another says, if I keep saying yes, I'm leaving myself. Let them talk. You're getting to know the parts of you that have been running the show. Third, practice tiny, low-risk boundaries. Don't start with your most difficult relationship. Start small, easy, safe. You can say, I can't talk right now, I'll message you later, instead of picking up every call immediately. Take a bit longer to answer non-urgent texts. You don't owe instant responses. Say, I'm going to head home now, even if others want to stay longer. At first, even these tiny moves may feel huge. Your brain might scream, you're being rude. But you'll also see something important. Most people adjust. The world doesn't crash. That's proof your nervous system needs. Fourth, learn to say no without an essay. People pleasers often feel they need a perfect reason to say no, so they write long messages explaining every detail. This usually makes them more anxious and invites pushback. Try this instead. I won't be able to do that. That doesn't work for me. I can't make it, but thank you for asking. Short, clear, no apology tacked on just to soften it. Yes, you'll feel guilty at first. That's normal. Guilt doesn't mean you did something wrong. For people pleasers, guilt often just means I did something new. Over time, the feeling fades faster. Fifth, spend quiet time with yourself on purpose. Turn off the noise for a few minutes each day. No phone, no TV, no solving anyone's problems, just you. You might sit by a window and watch what you notice. Take a slow walk without listening to anything. Lie on your bed and just breathe. At first, it may feel boring or uncomfortable, but this is how you start hearing your own voice again. Thoughts will come up. I'm so tired. I hate my job. I miss painting. These are signals. They are pieces of your real life underneath the performance. Sixth, practice one honest sentence a day. Instead of the automatic, I'm fine, try something a little more true with a safe person. I'm tired today. I'm a bit overwhelmed this week. I'm not really in the mood for that. You don't have to dump everything, just one step closer to real. Each honest sentence is a crack in the old mask, letting you breathe. Seventh, schedule a weekly no. Once a week, choose one thing you would usually say yes to out of guilt or habit and experiment with saying no. Maybe it's staying late at work. Maybe it's a favor for a friend that you always do. Maybe it's answering messages late at night. Say no kindly, but clearly. Notice what happens. Most of the time, people adjust. The story in your head that everyone will be furious or abandon you usually doesn't match reality. And if someone really can't handle a simple, respectful no, that tells you a lot about the relationship. Eighth, meet the part of you that's tired. Close your eyes. Imagine the version of you who's had enough of always pleasing. Maybe you see them sitting in a corner, burned out. Maybe it's you at 10 years old, or you last year, crying in your car. Ask them, in your mind, what do you wish I would stop doing? What do you wish I would start doing? Maybe they say, stop answering every call. Stop laughing at jokes that hurt me. Start telling the truth when I'm not okay. You don't have to do everything at once, but write it down. This part of you isn't your enemy. It's trying to pull you back to yourself. So what changes if you keep practicing these small things? Not perfection, not a life where you never slip into old habits, but slowly the balance shifts. You start noticing that you sometimes ask yourself, do I want this, before saying yes? That question alone is a huge step because it means your wants matter enough to be checked. You feel a bit less heavy after social interactions because you're not overgiving every single time. Some days, you leave a conversation with energy instead of feeling like something was taken from you. You get glimpses of what you actually like. Maybe you realize, I like quiet mornings. I like walking alone. I don't like that friend as much as I pretended. These realizations can be uncomfortable, but they're also freeing. They give you real choices. Your relationships begin to show their true shape. Some people respect your new boundaries. They might even say things like, I'm glad you told me, or thank you for being honest. These are keepers. You can relax more around them because you don't have to constantly manage their reactions. Some people push back. They might say, you've changed, or you're not as available as before. That can hurt. It can trigger panic. I knew it. If I stop people-pleasing, I'll lose everyone. But look closer. Are you losing everyone? Or are you losing the people who only knew you as a constant giver? Sometimes the relationships that fall away are the ones built on you disappearing. As painful as it is, that loss makes space for something better. Inside, you start feeling more solid. You're still kind, you still care, you still show up for people. That doesn't go away. Now, you're starting to show up for yourself too. You include your own energy, time, and feelings in the equation. The fear of being found out softens. You're less afraid someone will see you tired, upset, or needing space, because you're gently proving to yourself that you're still worthy even when you're not endlessly useful. You realize happiness isn't some prize you get for being the easiest person in the room. It's something that grows when your life starts to match who you really are. When your yes is real. When your no is allowed. When your face on the outside and your feelings on the inside are a little closer together. And then there's a different kind of moment in the kitchen. Same phone, same kind of message. Can you talk? I'm not okay. You feel your body. You notice you're tired. You check your plans. You see that tonight you don't have the emotional space to hold someone else's crisis well. This time you type, I'm so sorry you're going through this. I don't have the energy to talk tonight, but I care about you. Can we talk tomorrow? You feel the old fear rise, the old guilt, the old story. They'll hate you. The reply comes, I understand. Thank you for being honest. You put the phone down. You breathe. In that small, quiet moment, something important has shifted. You didn't stop caring. You didn't abandon anyone. You simply let your needs exist too. You took one step toward a life where your happiness is not built on your own disappearance. And that's the real work. Not becoming someone who never cares, but becoming someone who can care without losing themselves. Someone who can see their own pain as real, their own wants as valid, their own rest as necessary. This video is not a magic fix. But if, in these examples, you saw yourself, if you felt that sting of recognition, let it be a starting point, a gentle invitation to turn a little more toward yourself, to ask, maybe for the first time in a long time, what do I need? And then treat that answer like it matters. If this spoke to you, you're not alone, and you're not broken. You're someone who learned to survive by pleasing others, and who can now learn to live by including. If this resonated, subscribe for more videos on psychology and personal growth. And in the comments, if you feel safe to share, write about one small moment where you said yes when you wanted to say no, and what you wish you could do differently next time. That honest reflection might be the first real yes you give to yourself.